Hi, my name is Beth, and I want to welcome you to a short, gentle sequence that is completely focused on the hips. You don't need anything but some floor space, a yoga mat if you happen to have one, but if you don't, that's okay as well. Let's just make our way to the floor and come into a comfortable seated position. I am in Sukhasana, or easy seat as it's called, just a simple cross-legged position. And I encourage you, if you're able, to go ahead and find this position, because we're actually going to start here. If you need to take a variation thereof, that's totally fine as well. And let's just take a moment and find our sit bones. Let's kind of set up our foundation. Let's check in with our posture, set ourselves up nice and tall. Maybe draw the chin down just a little so the back of the neck can get long. Let's take a moment and just close our eyes. Just allowing ourselves to really kind of arrive into the moment, into our practice. And then maybe take the next breath or so to select your drishti, or also known as your focus point, so that as our mind starts to wander and thoughts start to creep into our practice, which thoughts always do, you have that focus point to kind of draw yourself back to over and over again, just to allowing yourself to really stay present in the moment and present to yourself. So from here, you can go ahead and open the eyes if you want. Let's check back in with that posture again. Inhaling up nice and tall through the top of the head. Now take that nice flat back, maybe engage the belly just a little bit, and let's come into a little bit of a forward fold. So you can bring tented fingertips or palms to the floor. It's up to you for a little bit of support. And hopefully you feel that stretch in your hips. Be mindful of your low back here. So if you need to come out of it a little bit, go ahead and back your hands up a little bit. Or maybe you find that you can go a little bit further. Once you're there, consciously try to relax your thighs. That's also going to help to get the stretch to get a little bit deeper in there, creating a little bit more sensation. Let's take one more breath here. And then let's start to walk those fingertips over to the right. So now the chin is going, or I'm sorry, not the chin. Well, the chin too, I guess. The chin can come along. The chin and the chest are kind of centered over that right knee. And then you're going to feel the stretch kind of now in the left hip, maybe a little bit of the left knee. So I really encourage you as we work through these poses and these holds within these poses to kind of notice the sensations that arise. Let's now walk those fingertips over to the left. So now the chest is over that left knee. And as I was saying, exploring those sensations that come up and kind of noticing what it is. If at any point you realize that it's pain, then I need you to back out of it. But if it's anything other than pain, just sit with it, acknowledge it, and notice where your body is. These slow practices really allow you to get really aware. Let's come back to center, and then let's bring ourselves back up. Shoulders come right over top of the hips. Bring your hands behind you for a little bit of support, maybe tented fingertips, and let's extend the legs out long, and let's windshield wiper the feet a little bit. Just feel nice. Now we're going to come back into that Sukhasana, or easy seat, but we're going to change our legs. So it's going to feel kind of funny because we tend to have a dominant side and a non-dominant side. Check back in, find those sit bones, find that posture, inhale up nice and tall, and then hinging at the hips, bring that flat back in. So you're right back to where we started. Just stretching into the hips. Noticing the sensation. Using that drishti, or that focus point, to draw ourselves back, and not really too worried about the breath. I don't want you to try to come into any formal or set type of breathing, just your regular breath. Now let's walk the fingertips now over to the left. So the chest is over that left thigh and that left knee. And then let's start to walk everything through center. Now let's move over to the other side. And then let's go ahead and come back to center and then walk the fingertips back and bring the shoulders back up over top of the hips. And we're going to start to make our way into frog pose. And you're going to be here for a few breaths. So I'm going to offer up a variation for you if you feel like this is going to be a little too strong on your knees. So you're going to come into tabletop. If you have a mat, I want you to turn sideways like I am. Hopefully you're on carpet, and if not, you might want to pause the video, grab a blanket real quick, place it under your knees if you feel like you need a little extra cushion. So from your tabletop to come into frog pose, I'm going to turn to the side just a little so you can see me better. We're going to start to widen the knees. So let's walk the knees apart. And then as far as the feet goes, excuse me, you can point your feet so that the edges, or not the edges, the inside arch of the foot is resting on the floor, and you can point. I don't want you to worry about how the feet go. I just want them to be comfortable, but just check in with them. And then once the knees are widened, you can see very well, we're going to start to lower down onto our forearms. So once you're here, if you realize that this is not where you want to be, I'm going to go over the variation in just a moment. If you're taking traditional frog pose, I want you to shift the hips back a little bit. Notice how that feels. And then shift the hips forward a little bit. And maybe alternate between the two just for a moment. And see if you can find that sweet spot. Just where you feel sensation, where you feel stretch. And then you're going to hold. Now, the variation is going to go like this. Let me check the time because I want to make sure that everybody's getting equal amounts of time in their hips. You're going to come down onto your belly. You're going to rotate the elbows off to the side, stack the palms, you turn, and you're going to come into half frog pose. So from here, you're going to draw the left knee up towards the left elbow. The right leg is just long behind you, resting so that you have a nice soft opening in that left hip. And then you have your body weight there to open that hip. And then you can just release your forehead down to the hand and just continue to breathe. Now, for those of you in traditional frog, you're going to go ahead and you're going to keep holding a little bit longer. At any point that it becomes too much, you can just come down into traditional resting pose, which is just kind of like I am. You're on your belly, your legs are extended long behind you, your elbows are out to the side, and the palms are stacked. So if you're in that half frog pose, you're going to start to bring that left leg back to meet the right. And then you're going to draw the right knee up towards the right elbow, taking that half frog pose now on the other side. So if you're in your half frog, you're going to go ahead and stay here. If you've been patiently waiting and stretching and holding in traditional frog pose, you're going to start to transition out. So you can place your palms on the floor, press yourself up, start to walk the knees in towards each other, and then come into resting pose. So release yourself all the way down onto your belly, rotate the elbows and stack the palms. If you're in that half frog pose, you're going to start to bring the right leg back to meet the left. And let's all just take just a moment here. Just let the hips relax for a second in resting pose. One more big breath here. And then let's rotate our elbows, bring the palms underneath the shoulders, press yourself up to your tabletop. And this is just a place for you to transition. So you're just going to bring yourself around. You're going to come onto your sit-bones. Bring the hands behind you and then release yourself down onto the mat. So keep a bend in the knees, excuse me, soles of the feet on the mat, and then let's adjust. Shift the hips back and forth. Get the spine all settled in and acclimated to being on the floor. And then we're going to take those feet and we're going to widen them. So maybe a little bit wider than hip distance, or if you happen to be on a mat, you can feel half of your foot on the mat and half off. And what we're going to do is we're going to windshield wiper those knees, both knees to the right. We're going to hold for a moment. Try to keep that left shoulder on the mat. And if you notice, you're going to feel a lot of sensation in the front of that left hip and that left thigh. So that's that hip flexor, that psoas muscle. I'm going to give that some attention and some love once in a while because we spend so much time seated, it spends a lot of its time bent. And we need to stretch it out once in a while because those muscles are how we walk and how we move. So we need to take good care of them. Now, as you hold here for another moment, if you feel like you want to deepen this a little bit, like you can go a little bit further, you're going to pick up that right foot and you can place it on the outside of that left knee. And then the weight of that leg is going to deepen that stretch. However, if you do that, you want to be mindful of your back, mindful of those sensations that come up, just like I talked about at the beginning of class. So if you've taken the foot on the outside of the knee, go ahead and let that go. Let's slowly start to bring the knees back up to center. Adjust the hips if you need to. And now those knees go over to the left. So now the stretch is in the front of that right hip and that right thigh and that right hip flexor. So continuing to hold here, same options apply. If you want to deepen that stretch, you pick up that left foot, place it on the outside of that right knee, use it as a little bit of weight, check in with the back, always noticing how you feel, or just hold. If your mind starts to drift off, you know you have that focus point to come back to over and over again. One more nice big inhale in, exhale out. Start to guide those knees back up towards the ceiling. Walk the feet in so they're back about hip distance apart. So everything's in line, your shoulders, your hips, and your knees and your feet. And then let's draw the knees into the chest. We're just going to give that low back a little stretch. And then from here, we're going to make our way into figure 4. So with your knees bent, you're going to set that left foot down on the mat and you're going to cross that right ankle onto that left knee. And then start to let everything relax. Just that way your body will settle into just its natural range of motion. And you might find that just being right here is enough of a stretch. You feel a sensation, you don't want to go any further, that's totally fine. If that's the case, go ahead and just settle in. Just allow yourself to relax. If you want to deepen that stretch, take it a little further. You're going to pick that left leg up. You're going to take your hands and interlace them behind that left thigh, kind of right behind the knee. If you're taking that bind, I'm going to encourage you to try to relax the shoulders and bring a little flex into that left foot. My right foot wanted to come along too. And then just hold here for a moment. One more nice big breath. And then let's go ahead and release those interlaced fingers. Let that left foot land on the mat. We all meet back in the same place. Uncross, set that foot down, pause for a moment. We're going to come right into the other side. Cross the left ankle onto the right knee. Let everything relax. Stay here if you wish, or pick that leg up. Take that figure 4. Interlace the fingers. Relax the shoulders. Bring a little flex into that foot. Just one more breath here. And then exhale, let that go. Set the right foot on the mat, uncross that left ankle, and then we're going to bring both knees back into the chest one more time. And then coming into our final pose, which is reclined bound ankle pose. So you're going to start to bring the feet down towards the mat. When the feet land, then the knees are going to float open to the sides, and then the soles of the feet meet. The shoulders are relaxed, the arms are just wherever they're comfortable, and then let those thigh muscles relax so the hips can just stretch and open. We carry so much stress and emotion in our hips. It's really nice to have a practice where we can focus just on the hips. Get rid of some of that stress, some of that tension. So let's start to guide the attention right into the knees, and then bring the knees back up towards the ceiling. The soles of the feet land on the mat, and then widen the feet a little, and then let the knees rest on each other. Just take a moment here, and then maybe even notice if you can feel any tingling or bubbling or any type of sensation in the hips. It just means that the poses that we did, that they did the work that they did the magic, let's say, the magic that they were supposed to do. And then from here, let's extend the legs long, draw the arms overhead, take that nice full body stretch. And then preparing for our Shavasana, our closing pose. So relax the legs, bring the arms back down by the sides. Find some stillness, close the eyes, take a clearing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. Let everything go. Surrender into the stillness, soften the body. And I will be here to bring you back when it is time. Just very gently begin to deepen your breath. Keep the eyes closed. Maintain your stillness. Take a moment to check in and kind of notice how you feel. Hopefully you feel a little de-stressed, a little more balanced, especially in the hip area. And then just start to bring a little awareness back. You move the fingers, move the toes. And you can stay on your back right where you are for a few more moments if you wish, or you can bend the knees. You can roll onto the side, press yourself up to seated, and right back where we started. And then let's bring the hands to heart center. Let's close the eyes and bow the head and just take a moment for gratitude. Usually we want to be grateful for the things around us or the things we have in our lives, but I would like you to be grateful for yourself. For finding just a few moments in your day to just focus on you. It's so important. And of course, I have gratitude for you sharing this time in this space with me and your energy with me. If you enjoyed this class, I encourage you to leave a review. And if you wish to contact me with any questions, or if you want to discuss different things, or you have suggestions on things that you'd like me to offer, I encourage you to reach out to me. You can find my email right in the bio on my page. My name is Beth McNally. It's been a pleasure spending this time with you. I hope you have the most wonderful day. Namaste.